Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel. And a few things has happened since I last uploaded. One of those things, President Trump made a comment, or asked a question rather, while he was talking to a Dr. Burke, I want to say, about UV light treatment inside of the human body to help fight the coronavirus, which is a valid question. Right after that, he continued on to ask about disinfectants as a treatment. Now, the president came back and said that was a sarcastic question. However, when something does not have a common cure, or something does not have a specific thing that cures it or helps it or stops it, but the only thing that points in the direction of effectivity is UV light and disinfectants on surfaces and higher temperatures with different humidities, and all those things have been tested, and that brings it down from days surviving on the surface all the way down to a minute survival rate for that virus. Why is it such a form of ridicule to our president for asking the question or even suggesting that it should be tested? Nobody told the general public to go and inject or ingest Lysol. However, the media has started a frenzy where they ridicule the president and tell people to actually go and ingest Lysol. Now, people, please do not take this as medical advice, because I'm not a medical professional. Also, do not take this as me trying to know better than the media, even though we all know I know better than the dumb-ass liberal media. The point I'm trying to make is this. On the back of any container that is FDA approved in the United States, and most probably the world, if anything is not healthy for human ingestion, on the back or on the label somewhere it will state, do not ingest this. If you get it in your eyes, this is how you should treat it. This is the helpline for ingesting it or spraying it in your eyes or something, because accidents do happen and there are stupid people in the world. I hate to say this, and I don't want to be the only voice of reason, but there's stupid people in the world. Believe me, I've met them, I've encountered them. And you know what? This goes beyond partisan nature. This goes beyond party lines. It's not just liberals that are stupid, or conservatives that are stupid or not stupid, or that the savior to the human race is going to be a liberal or a conservative. There's no such thing, guys. This is why in a time like right now, when we're dealing with a crisis, everybody's trying to monetize or turn this thing into a, oh my God, the Republican administration's failing us. Well, people, here's the numbers. Again, just like I've given it to you before. America's population is 320 million people. Up to this point, the death rate, the amount of people who has passed from this virus, the COVID virus, is just around 64,000. And I shouldn't say it's just around 64,000, because that sounds bad. There's 64,000 deaths recorded. We know at this point that those numbers were overinflated by medical personnel who were pressured to put those numbers up because, and wait for it, they were getting paid 3 times the sum for a COVID death on the death certificate than an actual other cause of death. As long as they put a respirator on that person, or a ventilator, whichever you call it, how different they are, obviously there should be a difference, which I'm not privy to, because again, I am not a medical professional. The question in my mind is, Miss Nancy Pelosi, Miss Nancy, who I call Nasty Nancy, which could work, Nasty Nancy, comes out, and this is funny, but she got a little bit of smack by the general public and our president because she shows off her fancy ass ice creams in her fridge, or freezer, sorry, freezer, politically correct, and the president gave her some flack for it. She comes back out today, or yesterday, whenever this came to light, and she felt that she had to defend her position on it. And her position, or her defense, was, well, I'd much rather have, or I should stutter when I say this because she never gets a sentence out sideways, but I'd much rather have fancy or luxury ice creams in my freezer than having Lysol in someone's lungs. Well, I know which channel you listen to, Nancy, and it's obviously not the channel of logic, which means if you go and you actually go research and look at the actual video that was recorded when the president said this, not once was Lysol mentioned, and not once did he refer into people starting to use it on themselves. He was looking at the professional, the scientist, the doctor in the room, and he posed the question that if we're testing ultraviolet light, we may as well test everything so that we know what works. And the sooner we find this cure, whether it be miracle or scientific, that should be used. Now, to get back to the number situation real fast, 320 million people in the United States, roughly. Of that 320 million, 64,000 deaths, which is inflated. We know that at this point. That means that when you take the total number of people in America to the total number of people who died, which is the actual calculation of what your chances would be of dying from COVID-19, the number is 0.3% that you can die from this disease. 0.3%. I repeat this so you can all understand. Actually, it's less. It's 0.2%. 0.2% is your chance of dying from corona in the United States. Okay, cool. If you take the amount of people that have been tested positive and infected is 1.1 million. Now, 1% of 320 million, believe me, I've done the math, is 3.2 million people. So 0.3% of our population has tested positive for this. Now they continue to test more and more will come out. But at this time, which this is the moment of ridicule, this is what everybody's pissing and moaning about and going on sideways, 0.3% of our population has tested positive. And out of that, 5.8% has passed away. Now that is an inflated number, we know that. Initially they were saying that 2 to 5% of people will die from this, who get it. Now they're talking herd immunity and all these other things. And as a child, we eat dirt. We put our hands in our mouths when we touch the grossest thing, and it makes our moms cringe. However, every single thing as a child that you do outdoors is to strengthen your immune system. Now, I'm not saying put a bunch of kids in a pool and just close the doors and put COVID in there and all will be well in the world, because there'll be some people who believe that's what I'm saying, which it's not. What I am, however, saying is this. If we do a study, as we're doing studies right now, we're doing a crazy bunch of studies, but if we do the study of the people that are working, essential personnel now, which I'm part of that frame, and we take the new infection rate for those people, and we take the non-essential people that's been in hiding, that's been quarantining themselves, that were healthy in the beginning and has come after and then contracted this disease, what would that study deliver? And this is just me asking, because I'm not saying that it would be one way or the other. I'm wondering that if we can prove that the people that were out there, essential personnel, hospitals, nurses, doctors, firefighters, truck drivers, people that have been communicating and have a greater chance of getting this disease, what if we did a test against that and the people who hasn't been out and has been sheltering and possibly weakening their immune system? What would that study look like, and what would that deliver? Would that not give us the angle that we need, or maybe just an insight into what the proper approach would be? Now, doctors are getting censored for doing this. Now, this benefits only one group of people. Us sheltering and shutting down the whole economy, the whole country, everything. It benefits one group of people. And I'll let you guess who that group of people would be. Yes, you guessed it. It is the liberal, Democrat, socialism. That is the mindset. That is the group that this thing encompasses and benefits. It doesn't benefit the average working class American that has credit card debt to the hilt, that owns a home that he has to pay for every day, that has kids going to school that need supplies, that has a wife having a second job just to bring an income into the house so that they can afford their private health care, so that they can afford paying the insurances and the levies and everything that is taxed onto us. And then you still have taxation. It doesn't benefit those people. There are people going to lose their houses, their cars, their businesses, their livelihoods. All for what? So that a Democrat can show us all up and show how stupid we are for believing in them? That's not fair. That's not fair to Americans. It doesn't matter if you left or right of the line. That is not fair. That is not right. That is not just. And healthcare is not a basic human right. Believe me when I tell you this. Who gave you healthcare when we were just cavemen? Who gave you healthcare before we were civilized to have doctors? No one. You went to the doctor, you paid your bill, you got the hell out. What makes today any different? Whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, either way, you're going to have a hospital bill at some point. It doesn't matter if the government pays for it. You're going to have a bill. And most of the time, you're still going to have a deductible on that, even if the government pays for part of it. This is a capitalist country. It is built on those norms. It is the only system that creates millionaires. Believe me, it creates millionaires. Every single day I see someone making a fortune. Because they work hard at it and they become specialists in a field. They become somebody that knows something that someone else doesn't know in their field, and they focus on that and they strive and they drive and they make something happen. Now, we have a billionaire as a president. You know how many countries don't have billionaires as presidents? Yes, a lot of countries. Now, there are some that have billionaires for presidents, don't get me wrong. But some of those countries, or most of those countries, are socialist countries. How did that guy become a billionaire if it's a socialist country? Well, let me tell you. He became a billionaire off the back of the 99% who's working their tails off to make it happen. And that 99% all share the same equal rights, all equal pay, all equal everything. But what you don't see is that equal that they speak about, it's not equal. It's equal in their norm. It's equal for the 99%. And for that, they only get 1% of the reward through the 99. Now, if you take whatever trillions of dollars or whatever you want to call it, and you divide those, $480 billion is getting sent out now for this next wave of stimulus checks. And it's $2,000 per person that's getting it. And that's just divided by the working individual or the tax-paying individual or the people who doesn't qualify or don't make enough money to pay taxes. It doesn't encompass all 320 million people that we have in this country. It doesn't pay the business owner that's making a certain amount over $130,000 per person. It doesn't pay him to pay his wages to his people, who is still liable to pay their wages. Remember this now. The business owner is getting hurt with this. The only people that is against us being capitalist are the socialists. And the socialists are all Democrats. Why does the Democrat word of mouth or the Democrat vision or the Democrat or the liberal mindset, and why do their definition for freedom of speech count more than the Republican or the conservative? We have the same rights. We have the same laws and amendments that is keeping everything at work and at bay and keeping the peace. And why is it only the liberals that are crying to change amendments? Why? It's because the amendments is stopping them from taking over and running amok. That's why they don't like those rhetorics, and that's why they don't like those narratives. They try to kill it as quick as they can with false media, with false misinformation campaigns. Wake up, America. This is not going to fix itself. We need to fix it, and the only way we can fix it is by voting for the right people, getting the perfect person in the position to do and make the decisions that we cannot go up to the Capitol buildings and make. We are oppressing our people, guys. We are oppressing our people by not letting Donald Trump do what he needs to do to get us back on track. Now, I'm not saying go and shoot stuff up, and I'm not saying be an uprising. This can all be settled in a humane, normal fashion. Just let us practice our God-given rights as American citizens. I'm not even a citizen yet, folks. Listen to this. This is the craziest thing too. I'm not even a citizen yet because I chose the legal way to go about becoming a citizen. There's people that are getting their citizenship because the liberals are just giving it away like candy. In 2012, there was 4.8 or 4.3 million people naturalized without a single day in front of a judge to actually get their green cards or even get their passports. I've lived in this country for 9 years. I've done everything by the book. I pay my taxes. I work every single day of my life. There's not a day that goes by that I don't work, whether it's for the company that I work for or in my personal capacity with my other jobs that I have, and I admit, self-inflicted. But it's because I want to have money in a savings account when stuff like this happens. I want to own nice stuff. There's my motorcycle on the back of this trailer. I want to own nice things. I want to be able to pay my medical insurance and put some in retirement. Have an IRA and a 401k. I chose this country because it's the greatest nation in the world, and it's only become better since 2016. It's only become better. I promise you this. But we want to break it down for what? For personal satisfaction, to see one man fall? If Donald Trump was out of office today, if you got him out of office today, that man will still be fine. He will have his billions in the bank. He will have a multitude of businesses and lines of income. That Democrat's not going to pay your bills, buddy. No Democrat will ever do that. Obama didn't do it in his administration. He didn't. When was the last stimulus check you saw, unless you claimed unemployment? And yet again, your unemployment is paid for by the company you worked for, if you had a valid case and a valid claim. Bet you didn't know that. Yes, it's coming out of someone's pocket. The guy that took the time and actually took a bet on you that you will work out for that company and be a good employee, that you try to show a big old up yours to and walked away from it, and then go put in a claim for unemployment. That unemployment taxes comes out of the pocket of the companies who has that insurances, and pay a tax to the government to cover themselves in a case like that. Because we have these liberal yuppies that want to claim a injustice every 5 seconds around every single corner. It doesn't work that way, folks. This country was built on the back of blood, sweat and tears. That bought your freedom. Now, do we feel like we're free right at this time with all this going on? I'm sure we don't. But I can guarantee you, out of all the countries I've been to and the country I come from originally, they have the harshest lockdown that any country's ever seen. They have only 2,000 cases. They have less than 100 deaths in a 60 million population. Difference is they haven't been mislabeling their deaths. Because people die. If you have 60 million people, every day there's going to be deaths. There's going to be people who die. People who die from accidents, heart attacks, strokes, flu, COVID, everything. But they have 2,000 cases of COVID, 3,000 maybe now, and they have less than 100 dead. But it's taking the toll on that economy because it's a third world country. Can you imagine what this does to a third world country? Well, we see what it does to a first world country's economy. We're a world leader, and I can tell you now, we're going to be a sheep follower if this thing works out, because the liberals are getting their funding from the Europeans. If you go and you research this, most of the funding for the Democrats is not coming from US donors. Some of it is, but it's not coming from US donors. It's coming from interested parties in Europe, interested parties in socialist and communist countries. Watch who you vote for in November, folks. Watch who you vote for. Be careful. Take all the information. Go do your research. Just be smart enough to Google something. The easiest answer I have for people who's in an argument or a heated debate is Google it. Google it. My favorite 2 words. Google it. It should be my slogan. With that, I want to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please follow. Hit the notification bell. It helps out the algorithm, guys. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about my thoughts, because these are my thoughts. I'm not trying to oppress anybody to believe what I believe. What I do have, though, is a hell of a sense of logic that helps me along. And I wish that for all of you. I wish good health for you. Stay safe. Don't take any chances. And let's see each other when this whole thing is over and we can actually smile and be social. And don't be hateful on the cap. It's a really cool cap. I love it. I have quite a few of them. I got some flags. I got everything. And that is my freedom of speech. That's my way of showing who I support. If you judge me for that, the problem might be closer to your house than mine. Let's be friends. Let's get through this thing. Let's build America up to where it can be again. See you soon. Take it easy.